She was just 2 weeks away from her 16th birthday, a milestone Antigo, Wisconsin teen Kayla Berg would never celebrate.
What are some of your favorite memories of Kayla?
Plenty. Just, her beautiful smiling face, the goofiness, running around, and just memories that will never be washed away.
But before there were only memories in her place, Kayla Berg was the always on-the-go kind of girl that even her mom had trouble pinning down.
Of course, she always wanted to be with her friends. Friends, 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 friends.
But there was one friend in particular Hope says she did not approve of. Kayla's 19-year-old boyfriend, Miguel Marrero. He was 4 years older than Kayla, still very much a minor.
Miguel's house, it was kind of a party spot for these kids from Antigo. Were going there on a regular basis, every weekend at least, and had a lot of young girls and young people at the house.
And Hope says she didn't want her daughter to be one of them, so she took drastic action, moving Kayla about as far south from Antigo, Wisconsin as they could get, to the state of Texas. Unfortunately, circumstances back home wouldn't let them go so easily.
We had ended up coming back up here. Her dad was not doing well. I felt the need that she needed to be, by her dad in case something did happen.
A decision she now says haunts her. It was August 11th. Kayla and Hope had only been back for a little over a week when Kayla told her mom she was going out.
Any red flags?
No, none whatsoever.
Then, at some point, Kayla made contact with the 24-year-old named Kevin Kilcheski.
Kevin Kilcheski was a friend of Kayla's older brother.
Would Kevin Kilcheski also hang out with Kayla?
They would all kind of hang out together.
In fact, rumor was 24-year-old Kevin hung out with a lot of teens around town.
Everything we had heard, he was kind of on a level, mentally maybe closer to these 15, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds that he was hanging around with. I think a lot of the younger kids were taking advantage of him. He could get the marijuana, and he was given the rides, and it sounded like that was happening on a regular basis.
It's what Kevin later says happened that night with Kayla. She called him for a ride, and he offered to throw in a little extra as a welcome home gift.
So Kevin picks up Kayla, they smoke some weed?
Right.
And then what happens?
She wants to go see her friend Miguel in Wausau, and Kevin said he agreed to take her to Wausau.
But first, Kayla asked to make a quick stop to see a friend at McDonald's.
They saw Kevin with Kayla at the McDonald's. He was waiting for her in the car, but they were together. And that's the last person besides Kevin that we know has seen Kayla. Kevin says he drove her over to Wausau, about 40 minutes away, and dropped her off at Miguel's house.
The next day, Kayla was gone, but it wasn't until nearly a full week later before anyone realized it.
We had a lot of different stories on when somebody did really see her last. Kayla did spend a lot of time with her friends too, and would go between houses and may not come home for a couple days. Initially we're going, oh no, she's just floating between friends.
Sadly, that would become wishful thinking. Already a week behind when Kayla is reported missing, police start retracing her last known steps, and the trail leads them to the last place she was supposed to be, with Miguel.
What do you think Miguel's motivation would be if he was involved in Kayla's disappearance?
There was a lot of rumors going around. She was pregnant. Was that an answer?
Police bring Miguel in for questioning, but he tells them he hasn't seen Kayla, that she never came over that night, and he never admits to even having had a sexual relationship with her.
Did you search Miguel's house? Did you search his car?
Had gone through the house and looked through the house many times. We had also searched his vehicle that he had and had been using, and nothing turned up on the search.
Not long after that, Miguel lawyered up, but then he wasn't the only one police wanted to talk to. If Miguel was telling the truth, that made Kevin Kilcheski the last known person to see Kayla alive. His story being that he dropped her off at Miguel's house.
And he just drove off.
And he drove off.
The problem with that story? The address he gave police wasn't even where Miguel had been staying.
When he got dropped off at the house, it was condemned. There was issues with water coming to the house, and they were told they couldn't be in the house until they had some processes fixed.
Isn't it suspicious then that Kayla would ask to be dropped off at this home that appears to be uninhabitable.
Right. Yeah, and that's very suspicious. And her friends have told us after that she was aware that he wasn't at that house.
But Kevin insists that's where he dropped her off, and there was no evidence to say otherwise. However, that didn't mean he was home free.
Kevin's eventually arrested for what?
Reckless endangerment, and that was for his activity of taking a 15-year-old girl, smoking marijuana with her, and leaving her at a house that he wasn't sure she got to.
And what happened with the case?
It was dismissed in court. They felt that there was not enough evidence. We didn't have a victim at that point because we don't have Kayla. We don't know where she's at.
A question hundreds of tips and multiple searches over several years have yet to answer.
And I just want to know what happened to her, and I want her home. It's the only thing I want. I don't want anything else.
But then, just when it seemed like attention in Kayla's case might be waning, it's been 7 years since Wisconsin 15-year-old Kayla Berg went missing after supposedly being dropped off at her boyfriend's house. 7 years without answers.
Kayla's dad eventually passed away. Did he ever talk to you prior to his death about Kayla and what went down?
He was pretty ill in the hospital. Everybody had left the room and gave him and I some alone time. All he did is, please find our little girl because I'm not gonna know. And I swore to him on his deathbed that I would do that. And I would make sure that we could get the answers. And it's unfortunate that he had to pass away without any closure whatsoever.
But police say it hasn't been for a lack of trying.
The FBI, they've been cooperative. Our Division of Criminal Investigation, our state agency, they've been involved. We've done extensive searches with cadaver dogs. We get a tip. We've probably done 12 different searches in different areas.
Police have also questioned both the boyfriend with whom Kayla was supposed to be dropped off and the person who gave her that final ride. And while cops say neither man has been officially ruled out, the case remains unsolved.
So if Kevin wasn't involved, if Miguel wasn't involved, what could have happened?
You know, then you look at a stranger of opportunity got to Kayla and was able to take her from when she got dropped off.
In some ways, it was the most disturbing scenario, a completely random act. Then, just this year, a possible lead that made everyone think that's exactly what happened.
Hi, Walter. I was at the mall today, and guess what happened? I met the most wonderful girl.
This video, posted to YouTube just 2 months after Kayla's disappearance, but not seen until years later, showed what appeared to be a crazed man discussing his new girlfriend.
She kept on looking at me and kept on giving me that look. You know the look.
And then, the moment that made everyone really sit up and take notice.
We got kind of tired of the mall, and I brought her back to my place. And I know she hates cameras, Walter, but I'm gonna show you her anyway. You ready?
The video cuts to black shortly after revealing a terrified young girl chained to the bathroom floor. A girl many people, including Kayla Berg's own mother, thought looked eerily familiar.
I looked at it and I about fell over. I was sick to my stomach. I watched it. I would stop it. I would pause it. I would break it down. And man, it sure did look like her. It looked like her face. It looked like her frame. The voice sounded like hers.
You thought this was your daughter?
I sincerely, honestly thought that was my daughter in that video.
And police weren't taking any chances.
Every tip we take seriously. And it was kind of a creepy video anyways, but then when you have the mom saying that it's, you know, that definitely could be my daughter. You know, we did whatever we could at that point to try to locate that video and who made that video.
And then, after an exhaustive search, a break.
Well, I found out the video wasn't had anything tied into the disappearance of Kayla. They weren't aware of the disappearance of Kayla.
It was all just a tragic coincidence.
We had made contact with The producer and the two actors in the video, both of them agreed that it was completely voluntary what they were doing, and we're just trying to produce these scare videos that they put out.
They didn't even know about Kayla. Hardly anybody knew about Kayla.
And if there's any good to come from the video, it's that it brought new exposure to Kayla's case.
The video emerging, it actually raised the level of attention
Right.
back to Kayla's case.
Yes.
What do you hope comes of that?
We know there's somebody knows something, and we want somebody that knows something to come forward.
In the meantime, investigators are back to square one, with no new leads or suspects.
Miguel says that he didn't see Kayla that evening.
Right. He was at his other house and said he never saw.
How would you classify Kevin today? Is he your chief suspect in Kayla's disappearance?
He's always still going to be a suspect until we know different, I think, mainly because of his actions and being the last one that we know of that saw Kayla. We're kind of looking at some other areas because I think we've exhausted as much as we can with Kevin at this point.
And Kayla's mom says there's something else that makes both men highly suspicious in her eyes.
They had refused a lie detector, and that's kind of where we sit with him.
Kevin refused to take a polygraph that was administered by law enforcement.
Correct, yes. We wanted to schedule for him to do a lie detector with the FBI. So we had all that scheduled. Well, then there was an excuse. Oh, well, he took a Vicodin or he took a Xanax, so he couldn't do the test. Finally, he's not gonna come in and do it, and we can't really make him.
Kevin did apparently have a test done later by a private firm and passed. But Hope says she's still dubious.
You know, what questions were asked. Anybody can pass if you word it the way you want it to be worded. Why didn't you take the lie detector right away and be done with it?
Wisconsin state law prohibits Chief Rowler from confirming or denying Hope's claim, but we wanted to help her get the answers she needed one way or another.
If we get the chance to talk to Kevin and Miguel, what questions do you want us to ask them?
What honestly happened? Just tell me the truth, good or bad. What did you do? What happened to her? Where is she?
And with that, we went searching. We weren't able to make contact with Miguel, who, to this day, has never been charged with anything in connection to Kayla's disappearance. But we found Kevin outside his place of work.
Jason McDermott, Crime Watch. Wait. Why are you fleeing already? We want to see if you can give us any information about Kayla. What, I mean, you're fleeing right off the bat. What, is your past coming back to haunt you? Is that why you're fleeing?
I was barely able to ask one question before Kevin ducked inside, though he has publicly denied having anything to do with Kayla's disappearance.
I hate to even ask this. Do you think Kayla's even alive?
You know, after this much time, it's hard to say. I mean, you hope for that, but when you see so many of them out there with the bad stuff that's happening, that's what hits us hard.
Today, Kayla Berg would be 23 and might look something like this composite, a glimpse of what might have been. For now, the only thing Hope has left.
Right now, it's just, I try to keep her in the media and try to get her story told.
Somebody knows something. Please, for the love of God, if you know something, just tell law enforcement, FBI, any agency. Just help me get my daughter back and help me find her and get some answers. And if Kayla, you still happen to see this somewhere, oh God, I love you and I just want you home.